Hello, Algebra 2. Today we're going to do Solve Rational Equations 5.6. This is probably the last section we're going to do that's new or unique. And we'll see what we're going to go from there. I'll try to keep you updated if we're going to have a test on this. Well, we're going to have a test on this. I'll give you updated when we're going to have a test on this. But 5.6, Solve Rational Equations. So solve rational equations. Now, remember, a rational equation is just a fraction equation. So let me just make some up. Let's do, let me not make some up. Let me just actually look some up so I get some clean numbers. I don't want to mess up. So let's do 3 over x plus 1 equals 9 over, let's do 4x plus 5. Okay. So we look at that, we got two fractional equations staring each other down across an equal sign. Well, what we do, this one, at least in this section, is pretty straightforward. It's back to, your straightforward algebra, just solve for x. Now, what's really nice is I can even make steps for this. So, step number 1, I'll type this in the description of the Google Classroom, so I don't spend time typing it now and make your video a little shorter. But the step 1 is to cross multiply or use the butterfly method. What does that mean? That means that I'm going to do 3 times 4x plus 5 and 9 times x plus 1. I'm going to multiply diagonally. So let me just write what I just said. So 3 times 4x plus 5, 3 times 4x plus 5, and I recommend writing it out first before you do it, equals 9x plus 1. Okay? So we have two equations like that. Let me just go over it again. You got to do the diagonals. X plus 1, of course, is locked in. So because x plus 1 is locked in, you can't distribute the way you want to. So on the left, we got 3 times 4x plus 5. So I'm going to have to distribute to everything in the parentheses. A lot of times, some of your little mistakes are just forgetting to distribute to the last one. Don't do that. 3 times 4x is 12x. 3 times 5 is 15. Equals 9 times x is 9x. Plus 9 oh, this gets distributed to here and here. I'm sorry. And then 9 times 1 is 9. Okay, now it's a two-step problem. I always recommend moving the x's first and then moving the whole numbers. So this is the smaller x, 9 and 8 12. So I'll move the smaller x. Minus 9x, minus 9x. You might ask why I always move the smallest x. It kind of avoids this to become a negative, right? If I move the smaller one, this will always be positive. And it usually is a nicer situation. Doesn't mean the answer is going to be positive, but the number in front of x is going to be positive. So this gets crossed out. So it's 12 minus 9 is 3x plus 15 equals 9. Like I said, what's nice about this section, we go back to some of this classic algebra. So then I subtract 15 on both sides. Cross that out. 9 minus 15 is negative 6. Divided by 3, because it's 3 times x, so we got to do the opposite. So x equals negative 2. That's one example of solving a radical equation. Why don't we do another example? Okay, I've just written down the new example. As a reminder, I always recommend sometimes, this is our second example of this type of problem, pause it, try to see if you could do it yourself right now. And then, you unpause it. Let's say you get halfway there and you're like, oh, I'm not sure what to do. Unpause it and match my steps. And when we meet up and you figure out what you need to do, pause it again. Sometimes that's the best way to learn. Just try it one step at a time. And if you're not sure, why don't you pause it and then just do the first step and see if that matches what I said. So you have the ability to pause. Your first step, remember, is to cross multiply. So we're going to cross multiply, circle these, crisscross, applesauce, butterfly method. There's a lot of words for this thing, okay? But let's cross multiply. I'll do this one first. So that's 3 times x minus 7. Remember, you got to put these in parentheses because they're locked in. Over here equals 2 times 5x. Now, I could do that all in one move, but I'm just making sure we're doing step by step so you don't make a mistake. Like, I could just say this is 10x, and you are allowed to say it's just 10x, but like I said, I like doing it one step at a time. So we're going to take this 3 and multiply here, and we take this 2 and multiply here. So 3 times x is 3x, and then 3 times 7 is negative 21. 3 times negative 7, I should say, is negative 21. Over here, 2 times 5 is 10x. So let's move over the x's, because I have x's on both sides. 3x is smaller, so minus 3x, minus 3x. So that's negative 21 equals 7x. I'm going to divide by 7, divided by 7. Over here, I get negative 3 equals x. Because this cross out and this cross out, yeah. Okay. So, again, we're just going back to our standard solve x on both sides. There's only one caveat. Because this is a fraction, you have to do a cross multiplication first. But after that, you just have a variable on both sides. And that makes it something that we know how to do. So I think this section might be, funny enough, even though the last section might be the easier of the bunch. Because it's more of a standard section. Okay? Today we're going to also have a live Zoom. And that live Zoom, of course, you need to show up. It'll be mandatory attendance, okay? If you don't show up, it hurts against your classwork grade. All right, this is a quick video. I hope you enjoyed it. Goodbye.